respected Mani Shankarji. I've seen him after a long time. My co-speakers, Dr. George Mathew, Dr. Chowdary, and maybe shortly joining Dr. Rajesh Tandon. The moderator, Dr.R.A. and Professor Balan, and the host, Dr. Sundaram, distinguished virtual participants and friends. I can see Mr. Shafi Pandit and Colonel Nisar Sethi Sahab, who had joined this on my invitation. I'm grateful to Dr. Sundaram for inviting me and providing me an opportunity to be a part of this event and to be virtually face-to-face with my distinguished friends after a long time. Panchayati Raj, I'll be brutally frank, because unless we are brutally frank, we can't reach anywhere. We have just heard Mani Shankarji that what has happened and why it did not happen. So the only thing is that we are brutally frank. Panchayati Raj caught my attention in 1992 when 73rd Constitutional Amendment was enacted. First Panchayat elections were held and 3.4 million, 1/3 of them women, were elected to different tiers of Panchayati Raj. I'm a trainer for 45 years. So as a trainer, I considered it as a huge pedagogical challenge for distance education, which I had at that time just joined. I made a rough calculation and it revealed that if we engage about 250 conventional training institutions across the country to train these 3.4 million elected representatives, it was expected to take them 15 years to complete one round. Armed with these figures, I went to the Ministry of Rural Development and met Mr. B.N. Additional Secretary, who had just returned from the Mussoorie Academy. Initially, he was very impolite, he was very tough, and told me to continue offering academic degree programs. When I told him about above calculations, he immediately turned polite, and we laid the foundation of a project called Education and Training of Elected Members of Panchayats, a distance education intervention. By the time I prepared the proposal, he was promoted as full-fledged secretary and came to IGNOU and spent full day to discuss how these millions could be trained through distance mode of education. It was a tough journey. I myself did not know what to do, but Mr. Yogender, peace be upon his soul, assured me full support, cooperation and funding. In fact, I still remember Mr. Sanjay Mitra, the then Deputy Secretary, who finally retired as the Chief Secretary of West Bengal, was designated as the coordinator from the Ministry of Rural Development. We made a large number of experts from all walks of life, Mr. D. Bandipadi, everybody, NIRD experts, to join us as experts. And we finalized a framework of multimedia package consisting of 23 self-learning booklets, 6 videos, and 4 audio programs to be introduced to train these elected members. This package, the first booklet of this 23, I'm saying this because there's a young participants of this. They need to know what happened in the past. The first booklet was on basic features of Indian Constitution. We turned it into a primary rhyme, extensively illustrated and written in the most simple language, which even neo-literates can understand and assimilate. This was the first booklet. In fact, at that time and even after that project, I begged almost the director at NCRT, why don't you introduce it at the primary level? Everybody needs to know our own Constitution. We had just started preparing this package when we were asked to immediately complete 4 to 5 of these booklets in just 2 weeks to be distributed in the Panchayat Adiksha Sammelan, which was subsequently held in October 1995 and attended by about 5,000 Adikshas. It was in the Indore Stadium in Delhi. Dr. Mishra was the Minister for Rural Development. He released these along with other 2 cabinet ministers. Prime Minister Mr. Narasimha Rao showed a lot of interest, and a set was subsequently kept in the PMO when Mr. B.N. Yoginder was Principal Secretary to Prime Minister Narasimha Rao. This was the time when I interacted with today's chief guest, Mr. Manish Shankar Aiyar, in the task force on Panchayati Raj, constituted by the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. I learned a lot from him. And task force was able to conduct dozens of grassroots level workshops across the country. An exercise which culminated into a report. I still with the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, perhaps Voices from Below. In fact, the proposal to have a separate Ministry of Panchayati Raj originated from the task force, and Mr. Manish Shankar Aiyar was the guide and the brain behind it. I don't want to go into the details, lot of personal interactions. Finally, this multimedia package, that's very important. Finally, this multimedia package was introduced among 58,000 elected members in 4 districts of Madhya Pradesh, Gunna, Dar, Bastar and Raigarh. It's a fact. It is successful implementation was noticed by the Commonwealth of Learning, and it was conferred Commonwealth of Learning President's Award of Excellence in 1999 during the 2nd Pan Commonwealth Conference held in Brunei Darul. Now, past this, in 2003, I thought we'll go further. Till then, I had the support and I was going full. 2003, as a follow-up, I signed Memorandum of Understanding with 8 state open universities and 2 other state-level institutions to facilitate decentralization of project activities in regional languages across the country. Believe me, these were not allowed to be implemented. Forget about all these things. When we say the reasons, these are the reasons. The project was subject to complete total neglect because the regime has changed on the pretext, on one or the other pretext, finally unilaterally declared as closed in April 2005 without assigning any reason. What is the lesson I learned? And what Maniji was saying. To me, a lesson was for any empowerment issue through capacity building to succeed, not only a strong political will, but the institutional will is equally important. You may have a political will, you don't have an institutional will, fall down. Since my determination was intact, I turned to Ministry of Panchayati Raj, headed by Mr. Manish Shankar Aiyar, and received a full support. I'm not praising him, and that's a fact. He did a lot of roundtables. At that time, there was a lot of, he may not be remembering it, because I have recorded them in my book, which was published by the National Book Trust in 2007. And so far, believe me, it has been translated in 4 languages. I think so far 80,000 copies have been sold by them. I get to know about it only when I receive the money from them. Panchayati Raj, Roundtable Panchayati Raj, ministers held on 17th to 19th of December 2004 on capacity building and training for PRIs, among other things, recommended all open universities may tie up with IGNOU and build linkages with the SIRDs and other like-minded institutions engaged in training and capacity building, and that training program shall be designed especially for the elected members and technical staff working with panchayats. As a follow-up to this recommendation, we immediately jumped in collaboration with the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, organized a brainstorming session on capacity building, exploring multi-mode training intervention. 2nd May, if Mr. Manish Shankar remembers, he came to IGNOU and spent whole day with me at Electronic Media Production Center at IGNOU. The session was attended by Honorable Union Minister for Panchayati Raj, by about 40 participants. Ministry of Panchayati Raj, national experts, vice-chancellors of state open universities, panchayat secretaries of the state government, and state-level institutions. Very methodic. I still remember when Shri Manish Shankarji, he was very enthusiastic. As a union minister, subsequently took a meeting, you know what time? At 7:30 in the Shastri Bhavan. I will refresh his memory, which was attended by, among others, Mrs. Shishman Singh, she was the secretary. Mr. P.K. Sinha was the additional secretary. And we decided to examine the existing self-learning package and add 18 modules and units on national roadmap as adopted during the 7 roundtables. Finally, IGNOU, through the Ministry of Panchayati Raj and under the sponsorship of the United Nations Development Program, took up a project, capacity building of PRIs through multimedia training intervention, as an attempt at empowering and capacity building of elected members of panchayats and development functions. We signed an MOU, IGNOU and UNDP, on 23rd of November 2007. The project covered 6 states, northern states, including Bihar, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, and Uttarakhand, with IGNOU as the implementing agency. The project envisaged a joint action by government, established institutions, and NGOs engaged in capacity building. I'm answering some questions also. Who should we engage? We were also able to develop a diploma program on panchayat level administration and development, which is still being offered under the School of Continuing Education. We can train all these people who will be working with the Panchayati Raj. One of the major activities which we took up under this project was hardware mapping of panchayats in 4 districts in each participating state. Not only was the project completed successfully, in the first half of 2009, UNDP admitted in writing that they got 150% outcome and did not ask even for an audit or anything. I was able to, sir, save 2 crore rupees from this project, which I made IGNOU to open National ODL Center for Local Governance. That was my point. That will be a meeting point between 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment. Most unfortunately, center was open with lot of fighting. It became dysfunctional immediately after I left. What can you do? I think, if you ask me, my sincere regret is that we are not interested in allowing panchayats to function as local self-government institutions. You are talking of JNK, I think Dr. Mathew is there. Let him say that when we prepared a package, a multicolor package, along with video and audio programs, and I don't want to name the state, and send it to one state. Sir, for 15 years, it is still lying in their godown. It was not allowed to be taken out. He knows it, and we fought about it, did not succeed. Local government institutions, because under the fear, they don't want to do it, it may interfere in achieving their political ambitions. The moment these panchayat members become aware about their rights, the moment we empower them, the politicians feel scared. So this is a blunt truth. We have the capacity. We have the capability to materialize. Today, yesterday, before yesterday, we were saying this is Constitution Day. Why, when I have a primary rhyme on basic features of Indian Constitution, what stops them to make it a part of the school curriculum? Why? It is by Aslam. Aslam might have prepared it under other region. Now we have to scuttle it. It's a blood truth. I think what you were asking a question, when we turn into to do anything for the empowerment of panchayats, we turn it into disempowerment. We have to realize that rural development in India cannot be achieved. I'm a professor of rural development for the last 40 years, cannot be achieved without empowerment of the panchayats. The sooner we realize it, the better it will be. I don't think AGRASRI, any other institution, is doing a wonderful job. I really wonder how it is surviving. I have seen many institutions being set up and then they disappear. How the gentleman alone has done it, I think he needs all encouragement and support for that. Hats off to him. It's very difficult without any dedicated funding to survive. We need all these institutions, forget about all other things. Just start adopting panchayats and empower them. It is possible. Sir, it is possible. We, as I say, we have the capacity and capability to do it. Forget about, changing the whole country. It needs, there are a lot of political, havocs will come. We are not interested in that. Even if we can do it at a block level, at a couple of panchayats, let the institutions make up their mind. I tell you one thing, sir. Many of these people who 3.4 million must be, figure must have changed now. When they get elected, they don't know how to function. They don't know how to govern. We had to prepare video programs of 10 to 15 minutes. It should have been broadcasted and telecasted from all the stations. How to conduct a panchayat meeting. We could use them. We have to, unless we tell them. We talk about, women's empowerment. What is that we have done to empower them? Yes, we have done in many cases. You know it, I know it. The husband you said in the meeting. That's how we empower them. No, they need to be empowered. So they have the capacity. If you go on the index of sincerity, woman is more sincere than man. And once we empower them, they can create miracles. They can show results. Are we ready? This is a question which this event, this national seminar, and all those who are participating in this national seminar had to ask themselves. Books are there. I have done 100 workshops and seminars, believe me, internationally across 25 countries. What's that? Lovely bags which I carry to bring the vegetable from. Nothing comes, nobody looks into it. Let us do something practical. Let us measure every year, as you said, it's a Panchayat day. It has got reduced to sending messages to happy Panchayat. That's it. I wish what you said, it was being implemented. What is that we have done during last one? I wrote to Secretary Minister of Panchayat Raj. He was, believe me, he didn't believe that this much of work has been done. He said, as soon as the corona is out, sir, I would like to have a meeting with you. People don't know. Somebody has to take this initiative. Forget about it. If we go on crying on our failures, no, I'm not interested. I'm very old now for all these things. I don't know how many more years we survive. Can we do something? Can we leave something behind? So this is I don't want to do a lecture. I think, as I said, panchayats are important. We are not doing any favor to them. They need to be empowered. And we, the institutions, will not be justifying our existence if we do not empower them. You need materials, I'll give you. We ask them that this is a state level act. They can't understand. You need an advocate from Supreme Court to tell them what act is. I got it translated into regional language, even in Telugu, in Tamil. Why don't you use it? No. What stops you using it? I'm asking this question to all the institutions who are attending this. What stops you using it? Are we charging you for this? Also to Dr. Mathew, why are you not creating that networks where this can be fruitfully used? No, it is not meant for your library. It is meant to be used across the country. So please do something. I can't do anything. I've completed my journey, professional journey. I'm sitting at home praying to Allah that please give us some wisdom so that we take this country on the march of development. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, everybody.